college before realizing that really wasn't for me, and I switched my major about 4 times before finally landing on international studies and eventually choosing public health. And I think it took me a really long time to figure out what I wanted to do with my life for a few reasons. One, I had always struggled with self-confidence, and I would set my standards for myself so high that anytime I failed to reach them, or I felt like I wasn't doing what I was supposed to be doing, instead of finding strength from that situation, I would beat myself up and falter. And two, my idea of success and happiness and satisfaction up until recently were completely misguided. We live in a world that encourages this idea that in order to be internally satisfied, we have to rely on external circumstances. And this is an idea that's been hammered into our heads probably since we could understand what happiness and success and satisfaction were. And obviously, these are concepts that are different for different people at different times. So it could be the little things, like spending time with friends and family, or curling up with a good book. Or it could be getting good grades, getting the job you want, finding the person you're meant to spend the rest of your life with. While all of these things are great things, we're still relying on things outside of ourselves to make us happy. And this idea of external substantiation has been magnified with the increases in technology and the advent of social media. We can't really exist without our devices anymore. It's almost like our phones have become other body organs that we can't live without. And with no offense to anybody in this room, but I can guarantee that the second I'm done talking, the majority of you will probably subconsciously reach for your phone to check your texts. And social media. Social media has created this idea of false happiness and satisfaction. Nobody wants to share bad moments in their lives. No one wants to share their mistakes or their failures. So social media has made it seem that everyone is always successful and happy and satisfied all the time. But what if things don't go our way? What if we don't get the grade we want? The person we thought we were going to spend the rest of our lives with breaks up with us. Or we do get the job we want, but there's some sort of negative aspect to it, like our boss sucks or we have a horrible coworker. Suddenly, the concept that was providing us with internal satisfaction externally is now negative. So what I'm realizing more and more is that not only is our success temporary, but our happiness is conditional. We're only happy or satisfied because something outside of ourselves is making us happy and satisfied. We're never truly satisfied for the sake of being satisfied. And that's where I realized I was going wrong. So let me back up a little bit. Anybody who knows me knows that my entire life I had been on a one-way path to becoming a doctor. My whole family is filled with medical professionals, and at the age of 5, I declared that I was going to be just like them. And of course, my incredible Indian parents let out a huge sigh of relief because they didn't have to convince me to go into medicine. And for a long time, that's what I wanted to do until I started learning more about myself and my passions and my interests. And suddenly, becoming a doctor was less of what I wanted to do and more of what I felt obligated to do. Because my entire life, I had been taught that in order to be successful, you have to be a doctor. And I was always a weirdly compliant kid. I always knew my parents knew what was best for me. So instead of finding the confidence in myself to stand up for myself, I went along with it. Flash forward to my freshman year of college, and I was miserable. I was taking classes that I hated, and I was doing poorly in them. The person that I thought I was going to spend the rest of my life with broke up with me the second he went to college. And I was still living at home, so I felt